It is 3:47 in the morning. The garden is still. The street is silent. Even the wind has stopped. And then a single note. You have just heard the first voice of the day. Not the first bird to stir. Not the first to open its eyes. The first to sing. In the minutes and hours that follow, something remarkable will unfold in the darkness above your garden. One by one, in a sequence so precise, it has been measured to the second, Britain's garden birds will add their voices to the morning. Each species at its appointed moment, each arrival as reliable as a tide. This is the dawn chorus, and its running order is not random. For as long as people have kept gardens and walked in woodland, they have noticed that the dawn chorus has a shape, that certain birds are always early and others always late, that the robin seems to exist in a world of perpetual twilight, singing before the day has truly begun, and long after it has ended. For most of human history, we assume this was temperament, boldness, enthusiasm. Perhaps the robins simply love to sing. It is not temperament. The answer lies in anatomy, in something so small, so specific, that it took a team of scientists at the University of Bristol, a set of precision calipers, and recordings made across 7 European sites before dawn, to finally measure it. The answer lies in the eye. In 2002, a research team led by Robert Thomas at the University of Bristol published a study that would quietly rewrite how we understand the dawn chorus. They recorded the precise moment that 57 woodland species began to sing at dawn, not approximately, but to the second, and at each of those moments they measured the light intensity in the air around the bird. Then they did something unusual. They caught the birds, and with a pair of calipers, they measured the diameter of each species' eye. What they found was elegant in its simplicity. Birds with larger eyes, larger relative to their body size, began singing at lower light levels, earlier in the darkness, further from sunrise. A larger eye gathers more light. It reaches a threshold of useful vision sooner, and a bird that can see, that can scan for predators, that can orient itself in space, is a bird that can afford to sing. The robin has unusually large eyes for its body size, disproportionately large, and this single anatomical fact explains almost everything about its relationship with darkness. The robin begins singing when it is still too dark for us to see it clearly. It can start up to 2 hours before sunrise, as early as 3 or 4 in the morning at the height of summer. And because the same large eye that gathers dawn light also gathers the last light of evening, the robin is also among the last birds still singing at dusk. First voice of the day, last voice of the night. This is not boldness, it is not sentiment. It is the consequence of an eye that sees the coming day before its neighbors can. Once you understand the eye, the running order of the dawn chorus becomes readable. Each species has its own characteristic light threshold, the precise level of illumination at which it feels safe and oriented enough to begin. And from that threshold, the sequence follows. After the robin, the blackbird arrives. Large-eyed, rich and fluting, it takes a high perch where it can survey the garden as light builds. Then the song thrush, its phrases repeated twice, 3 times, as if insisting on being heard. The dunnock joins early too, its fast, quiet warble coming from deep within a hedge. A bird so overlooked that most people cannot name it, yet one of the most reliably early voices in any British garden. As the light builds further, the wren arrives, and here the chorus shifts in character. The wren is among the smallest birds in Britain. Its eye is small, but when it finally sings, it produces one of the loudest sounds, relative to body size, of any bird on Earth. It has been waiting for enough light to feel safe. Now it announces itself without restraint. The warblers follow: blackcap, chiffchaff, willow warbler, but only in season, their voices present from spring through summer, before the long journey south. Then the chaffinch, then the blue tit, then the great tit. The tits are worth pausing on because their lateness has two causes working together. Their eyes are smaller, so they need more light before they'll sing. But they also feed largely on insects, and insects are not active in the cold, pre-dawn darkness. There is simply less urgency for a tit to be awake and territorial before the sun has warmed the air. Finally, as full daylight arrives, the wood pigeon and collared dove add their low, unhurried cooing. The chorus is complete, from the first robin note in the darkness to the last wood pigeon settling into the canopy. This is a sequence written in anatomy, refined over millions of years, and replayed in your garden every single morning of the year. But what happens when you move this ancient sequence into a city? In towns and suburbs across Britain, something has changed. The dawn chorus starts earlier than it should, and occasionally, in the small hours of the night, a single voice can be heard singing alone in the darkness, a sound so rich and complex that it is regularly mistaken for a nightingale. It is almost never a nightingale, it is a robin, and the reasons it is singing at 2 in the morning are more interesting than simple confusion. Two separate forces are reshaping the urban chorus, and researchers have taken considerable care to separate them. The first is light. A study published in 2014, tracking 6 common species across European cities: robin, blackbird, song thrush, blue tit, great tit, chaffinch, found that artificial light, not traffic noise, was responsible for advancing the start of dawn song. In 5 of the 6 species, birds near streetlights began singing earlier. The robin advanced its song by up to 20 minutes, and when researchers manipulated the lighting experimentally, birds adjusted immediately, the robin progressively moving its song earlier as the lights came on. Streetlights are, in effect, compressing the night. They are telling birds that dawn has arrived before it has. But the robin singing at 2 in the morning beside a busy road is a different phenomenon entirely. A study from the University of Sheffield, tracking robins across 121 sites in the city, found that night-singing robins were consistently found at locations with much higher daytime noise levels. The mean noise level at singing sites was nearly 10 decibels higher than at silent sites. Nighttime light levels were similar across both. The robin is not confused by the streetlight. It is escaping the traffic. During the day, its song is drowned out by engines, construction, the constant low roar of human movement. So it moves its singing to the only quiet hours available, the small hours of the night, when the roads fall silent and its voice can finally carry. That is not a bird in distress. That is a bird solving a problem. There is one more thing to understand about the dawn chorus that most accounts leave out entirely. The birds singing in your garden at 4 in the morning are hungry. A small bird's body weight is at its lowest point at dawn. Through the night, it has burned through its reserves, kept warm, kept its heart beating, kept itself alive, on nothing. It has not eaten since the previous afternoon, and it cannot eat now because the insects it depends on are not yet active in the cold pre-dawn air. The dawn chorus is performed on an empty stomach, in the cold, before a single meal has been taken. This matters because song is not free. It costs energy. It costs exposure. A singing bird is an audible bird, and an audible bird is a locatable one. Every phrase broadcast into the darkness is a small act of risk, which means that a bird singing vigorously at 4 in the morning, in the cold, while hungry, is making a statement. It is demonstrating that it survived the night in good enough condition to afford this, that it carries enough reserves, enough health, enough vitality to spend energy on song before it is eaten. The dawn chorus is not cheerful background noise. It is a fitness test, conducted in public every morning in the dark. Only the birds that pass it earn the right to breed. The dawn chorus is not a fixed thing. It is a calendar. In late February and early March, it begins to rebuild. Robins and great tits are among the first to ramp up as day length increases and the hormonal changes of approaching spring take hold. The garden is still cold. The chorus is thin, but the shape of what is coming is already audible. April accelerates everything. Resident birds are pairing and claiming territory. And then the migrants arrive: blackcap, chiffchaff, willow warbler, fresh from Africa and southern Europe, adding their voices to a chorus that is growing louder by the week. Late April into May is the peak, the fullest, loudest, most layered version of the dawn chorus that Britain produces. Resident territories established, migrants settled, every species singing at once in the pre-dawn darkness. It is no coincidence that International Dawn Chorus Day falls on the first Sunday in May, an event founded by British broadcaster and urban wildlife author Chris Baines, and now observed around the world. June and July see the chorus begin to thin. Birds are no longer defending territory. They are feeding chicks. Song becomes less urgent. The mornings grow quieter even as the days grow longer. Then August arrives, and the chorus largely dissolves. The garden that rang with a dozen voices in May now falls almost silent at dawn. The reason is molt. Every garden bird must replace its feathers before winter, a process so energetically costly, so physically demanding, that birds become quiet and secretive while it happens. They skulk and cover. They stop singing. For a few weeks, the garden seems abandoned, and then September arrives, and with it, a sound that stops people in their tracks. A robin singing from a bare branch in the gray morning light. A song so wistful, so unhurried, so completely at odds with the silence around it, that people often assume they are hearing something rare, something lost. They are hearing something singular. The robin is the only common British garden bird that holds a feeding territory through autumn and winter, while every other species has abandoned territorial song until spring. The robin never truly stops. It cannot afford to. Its winter territory, the patch of garden it will defend against all rivals until February, is the difference between surviving the cold months and not. And here is something that surprises almost everyone who hears it. In winter, both sexes sing. The female robin, silent through the breeding season, while her mate advertised their territory, now holds her own ground. Her song is quieter than the male's, slightly thinner in quality, but structurally the same. She is defending her own winter feeding patch, and she will do so with the same resolve. There is one more winter secret worth knowing. The robin you watch through your summer garden may not be the robin singing outside your window in December. Many British robins migrate south for winter, replaced by continental birds. robins from Scandinavia and northern Europe, driven west by harsher conditions, arriving on British shores in autumn to take advantage of our milder winters. The bird on your fence post in January may have flown from Norway. It has found your garden, assessed it, and decided it is worth defending. For the next few months, this patch of earth, your flower beds, your hedgerow, your bird table, is the center of its world. The next time you hear a robin singing before the alarm has gone off, before the street outside is woken, before the kettle has boiled, you will know what you are actually hearing. You are hearing the consequence of an eye shaped by millions of years of evolution, reaching its light threshold before every other bird in the garden. You are hearing a fitness test conducted in the cold and the dark on an empty stomach. You are hearing a calendar, one that has been running in British gardens since long before there were gardens at all. And if it is October and the song sounds wistful and unhurried in the grey morning air, you may be hearing a bird that flew here from Norway, that crossed the North Sea in the dark, that found your garden, decided it was worth having, and is now defending it with the only tool it possesses, its voice. The dawn chorus is not random. It never was.